Good evening. I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Prince George's Police Chief Malik Aziz addresses the County Council today on the pressing issue of crime, and what he had to say was alarming. The chief told council that property crimes are up 2% and violent crime is up 11% over this time last year. Aziz also talked about carjackings, which are up more than 63% from last year. There have been 59 since May 1st. Many of the offenders, Aziz said, are juveniles. In fact, he says 8 carjackings were committed by the same juvenile ring.
The largest string to date is 8 known cases that have been committed by the same group of suspects, the same group of juvenile suspects, I might add, who form these small groups of 3, 4, 5, 6 young people who go out with the intention of carjacking residents of this county. Being more problematic, some of our investigators, while speaking with these young people, they have said that they were never going to stop. This is, their way of life, and they were going to continue to do these kind of things.
Council members also talked about implementing programs aimed at keeping young people out of the criminal justice system. A former staffer unveils bombshell information about what was happening inside the White House on the days before the January 6th insurrection. Casey Hutchinson testified before the House Select Committee this afternoon. Hutchinson served as a special assistant to Mark Meadows, President Trump's chief of staff. She says after an interaction with Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal lawyer, and a separate conversation with Meadows, she says she felt scared and nervous about what could happen on January 6th.
He looked at me and said something to the effect of, "Cass, are you excited for the 6th? It's going to be a great day." I remember looking at him saying, "Rudy, could you explain what's happening on the 6th? He had responded something to the effect of, "We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great. The president's going to be there. He's going to look powerful. He's going to be with the members. He's going to be with the senators. Talk to the chief about it. Talk to the chief about it. He knows about it."
Hutchinson worked on Capitol Hill before joining the Trump White House. U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra unveils an action plan to protect women's access to reproductive health care. The secretary says the agency will ensure that medications for abortion will be available to all who need it. He also says it'll take every legal means to protect family planning care, including emergency contraceptives and long-acting reversible contraceptives.
This is a critical moment in our history. How we respond will speak to how we view the rights, the dignity, and the well-being of women everywhere. This is a moment of crisis in healthcare. At HHS, we will leave no stone unturned. All options are on the table. We will do everything within our legal limit of the law to reach patients and support providers. Now is the time for us to continue moving forward for the many across the country who live now in banned abortion states, who lack voice and the representation they need.
The U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last week, sparking a storm of protests. Meantime, CVS, Walmart, and Rite Aid say they will limit emergency contraceptive purchases due to a surge in demand. Following the Supreme Court's ruling, the pills were in short supply or out of stock across major retail websites on Monday morning. According to Fox 29, CVS and Rite Aid are limiting customers to 3 purchases of the product. Walmart is limiting purchases this week to 4 or 6. The city of Annapolis paused this morning to remember the victims of the Capitol Gazette shooting. Officials hosted a wreath-laying ceremony at the Guardians Memorial to honor the 5 journalists killed on this day in 2018. Gerald Fishman, Rob Hyacinth, John McNamara, Rebecca Smith, and Wendy Winters were the victims in that shooting 4 years ago. The shooter, Gerard Ramos, is serving a life sentence for the crime. Well, he spent 14 years in the Maryland House before his life came crashing down around him. Former Delegate Michael Vaughn was recently released from federal prison after spending 2 years behind bars for accepting bribes in exchange for influencing his official duties. Vaughn, who has maintained his innocence throughout the ordeal, agreed to sit down for a one-on-one interview after discussions for nearly 5 months. He spoke about when he first realized he was under surveillance.
And as I was departing the restaurants, I was approached by FBI agents, and then everything kind of started to click. You know, this was a setup, this was a sting. And consequently, so I accompanied them to a room that they had upstairs in the hotel portion of the building. And they started to question me about Sunday sales and my involvement in the Sunday sales bill. And of course, you know, I told them, as I've mentioned throughout the trial and throughout this whole endeavor, that I've never voted on a Sunday sales bill because in Annapolis, bills are sent through committees based on subject matter.
We will have much more in my interview with Michael Vaughn later this summer. Be sure to tune in. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Still ahead, the voter registration deadline is just hours away. We'll have the details. Plus, a new county council member aims to cut property taxes for seniors. And it's a final farewell for Eleanor Roosevelt's retiring principal. Stay with us.
A lot of my best memories of the holidays are centered around my grandmother. My grandmother's sweet potato pie, it just felt like a hug. I remember every time we'd come to her house, once you open that door, like it just hits you. And you're like, okay, the pies are ready, it's time. Food is a source of comfort. Food really helps bring people together.
Welcome back. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 1,461 cases. The positivity rate in Prince George's has eased to 11.95%. 13 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours, and 457 people are hospitalized. Well, 4 months after he was sworn in following a special election, District 8 Council member Edward Burrows sees his first piece of legislation become law. The property tax credit for seniors passed unanimously today. It provides a 20% tax credit for homeowners 65 and over who have been in the house for 10 years or more. The dwelling must have a maximum home value of $500,000.
Throughout this pandemic and in the time that we're in now with inflation being off the charts, it's so important that we provide as much relief to our seniors as possible. And so this is just one step in that direction.
The measure takes effect at the start of the 2023 fiscal year. Well, are you planning to cast your ballot in the upcoming July primary? If so, today is the last day to update your voter registration. Officials say today is the deadline to register to vote, change party affiliation, and update your address. Residents have until 11:59 tonight to submit voter registration applications using the state's online portal. Now, Prince Georgians can drop off their applications at the county's Board of Elections office in Largo. Forms can also be put in the mail, but they must be postmarked by today. A new Goucher poll has gubernatorial candidate Peter Franchot's Democratic competitors inching closer to his lead. If the primary election for governor were held today, 16% say they would vote for Franchot. Meantime, Tom Perez and Wes Moore are now in a dead heat, each having 14% of the vote. Both Moore and Perez have been steadily climbing over the past few weeks, making the race more competitive and fluid. According to the poll, 35% of Democratic voters remain undecided. Well, the call to temporarily suspend the state gas tax is gaining steam with the GOP. Maryland Republican lawmakers are urging Democrats to lower gas prices. GOP candidates, led by Delegate Kathy Saliga and Congressman Andy Harris, are calling on state and federal officials to pause the tax for the rest of the year. Maryland's current 36-cent tax will increase to 43 cents this Friday. The federal tax is 18 cents per gallon. Some Democrats are concerned that a decrease in revenues will hurt transportation aid. A longtime county principal says farewell to a school and community that has embraced him for more than a decade. Reginald Mcneil is retiring this year as the principal of Eleanor Roosevelt High School in Greenbelt. Mcneil has spent the last 15 years serving as the school's top leader as well as assistant principal. The North Carolina native started his career in education as a substitute teacher at James McHenry Elementary School in Lanham back in the early 90s.
Well, the school has accomplished a lot, and one of the things is I'll miss the students and the staff and just the energy that everybody brings in. I always tell everyone that this school is just great through the academics that everybody is aware of, but the athletics and our arts program. And so we do fine in all of those areas.
And Mcneil's official last day in the job is August 1st. He says he's looking forward to spending more time with his wife, Cynthia, his son, and grandchildren. And we'll be back with more news in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The coronavirus has affected the African American community in many ways, including a drastic drop in blood donations needed for patients with sickle cell disease. If you're healthy, please make an appointment to donate at redcrossblood.org.
Right here, baby.
The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, former Washington Wizard John Wall's contract will be bought out by the Houston Rockets. Wall, the #1 pick in the 2010 NBA draft, played his first 9 seasons in Washington until joining the Houston Rockets in 2020. Now, Wall will receive $41 million from Houston in the buyout, allowing him to sign with any team of his choosing. ESPN reports that Wall intends to join the Los Angeles Clippers, but no official agreement can be struck until he clears waivers and becomes a free agent. The city of College Park cancels its fireworks, and Ocean City changes its 4th of July celebrations because of supply chain issues. The fireworks company contracted for the holiday celebrations told officials that shortages resulted in having inadequate staff to host the events. Ocean City has moved its celebrations to July 3rd and July 5th. The city of College Park has canceled all celebrations and anticipates the return of the event in July 2023. Well, Metro makes changes to train schedules for the 4th of July holiday. Trains will run regular weekday service on all lines with supplemental service on the Red Line. In the downtown area, trains will arrive every 6 to 8 minutes. Off-peak fares will be in effect, and parking will be free at all Metro parking facilities and garages. Now let's get a check on your weather forecast. Tonight, cloudy with lows in the 60s. Tomorrow, sunny with a slight chance of thunderstorms, highs around 87. Thursday, sunny again with highs around 90. Friday, much more of the same with highs around 94. And now for your community calendar, the Bowie Center for Performing Arts presents Ricky Solomon's Anatomy of Love. It's a musical stage play about a woman whose visit home is extended as she learns about love. The play will take place both Friday, July 1st at 7 p.m. and Saturday, July 2nd at 5:30. Tickets are available at rickysolomon.com/Solomon's Word Stage Shows. And that's CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Valone. Have a great night.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.